Ciao and welcome back to Rear Winging It, Formula One podcast. This week, Italy at the Temple of Speed in Monza. I'm one of your hosts, Kieran, and I'm joined by my co-host, Harry.
Hello.
And our other co-host, Ellie.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back, everybody. So, back-to-back weeks, the summer break slams closed, back to racing. Do you guys enjoy it? Do you enjoy the race? Good race?
Yeah, I think there was quite a bit going on. So I did enjoy that. But no rain, no wet weather, so a bit disappointed on that.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, I have it on good authority from our trackside reporter this week, Ori, that it was chuffing hot out there. So slightly different conditions this week. Probably one of the last boiling hot races that you're going to have on the European calendar in the year, getting into September. But yeah, chuffing hot weather out there this week.
I think I kind of enjoyed the race. I think the first maybe 10 laps or so were better with a bit of racing with the front markers.
Yeah,
I think there was enough going on to keep me entertained, and then just having such a dominant weekend for Max this season is been very rare. So I think I enjoyed it probably more because of that than I would have otherwise. But I think overall I was
definitely.
It was not too bad.
Was it a Grand Slam weekend for Max this week?
Well,
no,
he
I guess
didn't.
technically he didn't lead the race.
Yeah, and also he didn't top any of the practice sessions, or maybe he topped some.
Oh, is it that far? I didn't know practice sessions counted.
Well, there are some. There's different. Because there's
forms of a Grand Slam.
Yeah, like pole, win, fastest lap, and then there's also like pole, win, fastest lap, led every lap,
led the whole race,
and then like topped every qualifying session, every practice session. So there's like different.
That one's crazy. Yeah, that's very impressive, those ones. But either way, we'll get into it in more detail. But a very dominant weekend for Max. And speaking of qualifying, the promise Ferrari showed. The Tifosi were out in full force, probably expecting a lot. But we'll get into that later. So jumping into qualifying then, no sprint weekend this week. Do you think a track like Monza would suit a sprint weekend? Random question.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm going to say no because none of them suit it because it's terrible.
Yeah,
but,
I agree 100% with you.
But if I'm being serious, maybe. I mean, I quite like the track. It's fast, but you can do some overtaking here, I guess.
Yeah. I think the best 10 laps of the race were the first 10. So a nice little 10-lap sprint race.
Yeah.
Is it a third race distance? It probably wouldn't even be too much more than that, right? Because it is one of the distance-wise longer tracks, but obviously a lot of high speed. That it probably would only be like a 12-lap sprint race. So I personally wouldn't mind it. If you're going to have a sprint race at all, I personally wouldn't mind it at Monza. But alas, no sprint race, just a traditional Saturday, Sunday. From the top then, Hadjar, big news, out in Q1 for the first time in his career. Rumours have it he was worried about getting demoted to Red Bull, so he thought, better make sure I get myself in Q1. I've got to stop looking so good these last few weeks. So a rare misstep from him.
Yeah. As a rookie, he obviously, to say in his career makes it sound really impressive, but he was the only Formula 1 driver to have never gone out in Q1, like on the grid, obviously. So it just shows like how the first 15 races was this round 16, so the first 15 races, how consistent he has been, and for a rookie, it's just been incredible.
Yeah, big time. Really impressive this season so far from him. But so Q1, but it's not like you say, it's not the end of the world. It's the first time it's happened to him, and in the car that he's in, the Racing Bull before the season, if you told maybe not him, because I'm sure he has confidence in himself, but if you told the team this would be the first time he's out in Q1 all season, they'd have been very happy with that. So
and he's still out-qualified Lawson, I believe, so
yeah, well,
yeah,
so did most people.
I don't know if
I think so did everybody.
I remember
exactly.
Yeah, Lawson was qualified last. So
another speaking of driver inter-team matchups then. Ollie Beerman outqualified Ocon, P11 to P15 for 4 grid place difference. Ollie Beerman, he's maybe going under the radar might be too strong of a word, but it does feel like all the rookie attention has been on Isaac Hadjar, at least in the last, let's say, 5 or 6 races, just because, like we just mentioned there, the strength that he's having. But what do you make of Ollie Beerman's season so far? I think qualifying he's looked pretty good at least, and he's not raced badly either. What do you guys think of his season so far?
I think I do rate him. I think there's been a few silly mistakes, a few rookie errors we've mentioned. The house, I think we spoke about it last week, is so up and down. But I think all the rookies have been good. I think he's probably in that mid slot. I'd probably rank him 3rd, 4th. So he's definitely impressing me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think it just shows as well, like putting a rookie in a team like Cass, one that can on a good day maybe get some points, but the expectation's less, the pressure's less, and you can develop a lot more. Whereas you've got Antonelli, who, had an impressive quality this week, but just the pressure's so much more, and yet, if you don't perform, it's tough. So I think it's a good place to be in that house.
I think I wasn't expecting him to be as competitive with Ocon as he has been, especially. I know he's not like. I know that they're both in a new seat, right? Ocon moved, but Ocon's had a lot of experience, so I was expecting Ocon to be much more dominant, but it's just been more even than I was anticipating.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, against a reasonably successful F1 driver who's been there for a long time, it's been impressive. You won't want him to get whitewashed, but to make it tight as he has done has been very impressive. And this week, a really good result for him, taking four places on him. Moving on to, like we just mentioned there, some of the other rookies then. Kimi, P7 this week. Bortoletto in P8, Yuki in P10. Well, Yuki's not a rookie, but this is how we've written it down. But we'll go from the bottom up then. So Yuki in P10, shouldn't be shocking for the Red Bull driver to get into Q3. If anything, P10 would be underperforming. But given how his season's going so far, I think Yuki will take a lot of heart from that performance. I think he should be quite proud of himself. Do you think there's been signs in the last few weeks, especially since the break and stuff, that he is, maybe not a massive one, but taking a little step in the right direction in that Red Bull? Or do you think it's more about the Red Bull itself?
Yeah, I think you're being quite overly nice to him, because he was in what was clearly...
He's my favourite.
He was in what was, ended up clearly as the fastest car this weekend. And yet he was still 10th to Verstappen's first. And I know that they're a different calibre of driver, but as... we're talking about Behrman and Ocon being close together. We're talking about Bortoletto out-qualifying Hulkenberg. There's a lot of mismatched pairings on the grid where actually they're more even than we anticipated. But I just think you're just being a bit too harsh on Yuki there. 10th, he got into Q3, but
I think
it'd be interesting to see if he can maintain it, maybe.
I think the setup, so Max, I think they did a lot more. Max would go out, come back, tweak something on the car, go out, tweak, and he just, I think, just ignored some of the simulators, some of that sort of stuff, and just went full on his feedback.
On the feel of it, yeah.
And I think Yuki didn't follow that because he can't handle the twitchiness of the rear end and stuff. But getting P10 into Q3 is probably the best we can hope for. But I'm just looking at points. Max is on 230 points, 3rd in the championship. Sonoda's 19th out of 21 drivers because of Duhan, and he's got 12 points. I know the car's terrible, but that is way worse than Perez.
That's
last
a bit.
year.
Yeah, true. I think they have just written off the second seat.
Yeah.
Maybe they have faith in Yuki turning it around. Maybe it's the car that
I still
they're
don't think
blaming.
he'll be
But
there
I think in
next
terms
year.
of getting points out of the second driver, they're really not worried at this point of the season.
No.
Clearly. Because, yeah, I mean, we'll come on to the race, but in the race, he was nowhere, right? He slid backwards majorly in the race. But rounding out qualifying then, Bortoletto P8, another rookie that in the last few weeks seems to have turned a corner maybe, and is feeling, I think from the interviews I saw, he said he's feeling more and more confident in the car. You know, he's properly settled in now, he's had time in the car, he's had time in the team. He's another one who seems to have turned the corner and putting in some really impressive performances, I think. How are you feeling about that shot total that we're getting to, Harry, on the old apple sour?
I think it's already a full bottle. I think it was a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to say. I'm not really sure how to weasel my way out of it. Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, we have it on recording. You can't just say, you can't do like a Donald Trump and say, you know, it's fake news, I never said that.
No, it's fake news. It wasn't me. It was AI.
You know?
It was AI Harry in that episode.
He's actually Harry's actually an FBI informant, is what I've heard. Yeah. So, moving on from qualifying then.
Before you
dramatic qualifying. Well, we'll round it out by just saying.
Before you, can we just say it was much closer at the top.
Yes, yeah, we haven't actually spoken about.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say, what do we actually think of qualifying? How tight it was, how good it was. So, sorry, I was getting us there, but yeah.
Sorry.
Qualifying as a spectacle to watch. Then, one of the best qualifying sessions I've seen. I'll hold my hand up and say I don't watch qualifying every time because sometimes it's not the most interesting thing in the world. But this week I'm glad I did. I really am glad I did because pole could have been any one of maybe 5 or 6 drivers. Do you reckon we had a shot at pole in the final Q3?
When I was watching it, I thought, it could be either of the McLarens, Ferraris, Verstappen, or Russell. But then looking at the timings, like a lot of the top 10, they were all really close together. And even looking at like Kimi and Bortoletto, there wasn't much in it. So yeah, it could have been anyone.
Yeah, I think it was nice as well when you're getting sort of back and forth, like someone beats a lap and someone beats a lap and someone beats a lap. They're improving here, but they're not improving there. I don't always like to. Well, I do always like to do it. I wish I didn't have to, but bag on the racing direction of the broadcast because obviously Lando crossed the line, took provisional pole. The camera cuts to the garage and like seeing everyone celebrating in there, but Max is still on the track racing and then takes pole and you don't see it, and it's like, what is going on? Like, who made this decision? But you know, it's still exciting.
I don't care enough to know what Norris's girlfriend looks like. I just don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know
it's like...
Yeah, I hate it also just because I was like, you know, I was watching on Sunday also like the tennis final, and it just cuts to like so many famous people, and you get that in Formula One as well, and it just cuts to like some random famous person in the garage. I obviously have no idea who they are, and it's like I'd rather be watching the actual Formula One.
Especially with that, like if it's in a crowd this is getting off topic maybe, but like if it's in a crowd in a tennis stadium, fine. It's showing the atmosphere, it's showing who's there, it's showing this, it's showing that. For an F1, you're literally taking a camera, walking into a garage, a closed garage only the teams have access to, pointing a camera in someone's face and then saying the entire world needs to look at this person insteed of what's happening on the track. Yeah. It's just bizarre to me. It's something that really annoys me. And I do wonder who's interested in it. Is it is there some kind of public feedback? I'm assuming they do like testing sessions. Is it public feedback that's saying people want those shots? Is it the team saying we want the VIPs in the garage and they enjoy being on camera, so you want it then? Do the teams not like it, but they have to put up with it because Formula One wants it? Like, I don't know who's wanting these shots.
Especially if like the girlfriends, like sometimes they look really awkward. It depends on them,
like
but they obviously don't look comfortable. So like that, I think is just, I guess, I don't know. It must be like, what was it, Liberty Media or whatever decision. yeah, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Exactly.
But I definitely don't care
It
who
is.
they are. No offense to the Formula One wags.
No, I enjoy it on the grid walk, and once the grid walk's over, that should
Yeah,
be
that's
it, in my
the
opinion.
place
Then
for it.
it's-
Yeah,
then
if
it's
you
time
want
for
to.
racing.
Yeah.
Because also you can
Yeah.
easily avoid the grid walk. You know,
Yeah.
I can tune in a
And I
minute
often
before
do.
it starts. Yeah.
I find it so awkward.
I often do, yeah. I turn on when the formation lap takes off, like perfect timing. I nail
Yeah.
it.
That's the great thing
Well, I
about
like doing that though. I like tuning into the grid, into the formation lap when I've missed something, and I've missed that like someone's crashed on the way to the grid. I'm like, wait, where the hell's Leclerc? And he's just like
Yeah.
crashed on his way to the grid, and I find out then. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I guess it's not starting. Right, moving on to the race then.
Yeah.
Let's stay on that kind of vein of cursed drivers having unfortunate starts, unfortunate luck. Alonso this season, the deal he made with the devil to be running in F1 till he's in his 40s is clearly backfiring, because
Yeah.
what an unlucky season he is having.
I
Fernando Alonso. Bless
I
him.
think the deal he made with the devil was about his hair and not about Formula One.
Well, clear, yeah. To be fair, must have been, because the Formula One hasn't been too kind to him as of late. I think he still shows that he's got it as a driver. I don't think it's his driving ability this season. It's just been luck. It's just been absolutely rotten luck from him.
I think a lot of that's his career, though. I mean, he's had bad luck all his career.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy him fighting with Bortoleto. Obviously, he's his manager,
Yeah.
and having that.
We've
like,
seen quite a bit of that the last few races.
Yeah,
They've
it's
kind of been
really-
in
it's
and
nice to
around
see.
each
Yeah, we
other.
have actually. Well, they were
Just a
talking before
shame.
the race. Bortoleto was talking about how. Someone was telling Bortoleto that like he forced Alonso into the was it the Ferrari motorhome they were messing around with an electric
yeah.
scooter, and he like crashed into or something like that, and he made a good joke about them not fighting on track, and lo and behold, there they were on track once again fighting. But it is a commentator's dream, I think, isn't it, to have the manager of the young talent both racing each other on track. It does make for good TV. I do enjoy it, and do you know what? Their on track battles have been really good to watch. Like I said last week, I think the midfield battle, which Aston Martin are probably frustrated to find themselves in again, with the investment that they've put into the team in the last few years. But the midfield battle has been really good this year, in no small part due to, I think the rookies have been really good at getting stuck in as well this year, which has been really good to see.
I guess like they probably have quite a lot of respect for each other, so that's why maybe the wheel to wheel's been quite good, because they're being polite, shall we say? Like they're not being overly aggressive, because neither of them want to crash. I mean, no driver necessarily wants to crash, but Bortoleto was like, oh, I can't crash because that's my manager, and then Alonso's probably thinking, I'm getting a cut of his paycheck, I don't want to crash into him and lose a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this week though, it was the suspension, wasn't it? The front right suspension on Alonso's car just seemed to snap. Do you think no other driver seemed to have issues with suspension? Obviously, like a lot of curbs hit at high speed round Monza, but again, just Alonso with that luck, it was only him that seemed to be affected, and took him out of the race immediately, essentially.
Yeah, he did well to get it around to the pits, though. I think some of the drivers wanted a safety car. I think they were kind of looking at it thinking,
I did think it looked...
I think I wanted a safety car.
Looking at like the tracker, seeing
make
where
it
he was on the
interesting.
track, I did think he might struggle to get it back, and good for him for the race in that sense that he did get it back. But like you say, I think a few drivers would have been calling for a safety car at that point.
Yeah. I think when they cut to the pre-podium room, I don't know what they call that, like the cool-down room before they go onto the podium. I think they were watching it back, and I think they were saying, especially like the McLaren drivers were like, "Oh, I was watching that on the big screen, hoping for a safety car." Or maybe that was with the Williams spin. With it, was it with
it could have been that.
The Williams and Haas? Maybe it was that incident they were talking about, but they were definitely saying they were hoping.
They watch the TVs while they're racing.
Must have missed that.
And then
or Verstappen coming on and making a comment about Lando having a slow pit stop, and he hadn't been told Lando had a slow pit stop. He had picked that up from watching the big screens.
It's crazy.
It's just amazing to me that they're driving the closest thing to like horizontal rocket ships out there, and they've got enough time and enough mental capacity to be watching TV screens whilst they go around. It's just amazing. Just shows like the level that they're at that top level is just unbelievable that they can operate on that kind of wavelength, I think. But talking of operating at that wavelength, Max Verstappen, dominant win, something we've not been used to seeing this year at all, really, in 2025, with the McLaren being as dominant as it has been.
Hasn't it been a shame, Don't we all want more
dominant
weekends
race from Max,
where Max just beats everyone convincingly, wins by like 19
It felt very
seconds.
comfortable.
Yeah, it did.
Felt very reassuring. I felt it was a bit of nostalgia for me seeing Max win with that kind of margin, but it never looked in doubt, did it? I mean, obviously, that incident, first corner, do you think they were right to tell Max to give the place back after going off the track? I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, I think so. I think he did gain an advantage. Otherwise, he would have crashed or been, behind. So I think maybe his argument
You think
was
Lando
he took
gave him
avoiding
enough
it.
space?
I don't know, but then I think
Would Max have given that space in the
would
flip
Max
side?
have
No.
exactly. So
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think I think it was fair from Lando and fair from Max to do that and then give it back. I think
he also had a faster
think-
car underneath him. So
yeah,
it was-
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
Red Bull
It
were
was
quite
just smart
reassured in the
to-
fact that they could get it back.
Give it back quick, and then don't risk a penalty. Take it back on track like he did. Makes sense. And you mentioned I think you mentioned fairness, and I think that's what I think. We don't often have this, but I think the whole race had a very thematic bond of fairness, and I think that's really important. I think we should all strive to be really fair in our decisions. I think we'll come to that, but yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder what Harry could
certainly
possibly be alluding to.
Wow, what could I be referring?
Was it?
We'll have to
Are you
come-
alluding to the Behrman 10-second time penalty?
Yeah, exactly. And that's not fair. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that's harsh. And I think we talked about it a little bit last week about the rules of,
Yeah.
when you're at a corner being ahead. Because to me, it feels like, Sainz can sort of put his car ahead. And then that ends up with Behrman getting a penalty. But he didn't really have... Yeah, I don't agree. I think he didn't really give him enough space.
I think the rules are too weighted now to getting your axle in front. As long as you get your axle in front, you're kind of safe. You don't have to really have a good chance of making the corner or giving. It just feels like there's too much focus on I was ahead at the corner, therefore I can do what I want, and that's how the penalties are being dished out, which I don't necessarily agree with. And I think it is leading to more those kind of moves where the only aim is get your wheels in front and see what happens, because at that point you're safe from a penalty. But it's the second week in a row for Sainz being in the wars surrounding penalties, wasn't it? Because I think it was Lawson last week who he's probably having one of the most penalised rookie seasons ever. Surely, I think he got away with it this week though. But yeah, another skeptical one, let's say, when it comes to the penalties being dished out. It's similar to football, with a dodgy decision. It's not what you want to see. You don't want to see races decided, and obviously maybe not a whole race, but you don't want to see individual drivers' races ruined or decided by penalties.
Yeah.
When they're maybe not fair or they're harsh, it takes away from what you're seeing on track, I think. So unlucky for Molly Beerman to end up outside of the points, partly due to that. But his Williams teammate then, let's move on from Carlos Sainz, Williams teammate of Alex Albon, finishing 7th, ahead of the Mercedes of Antonelli, ahead of a great performance from Bortoletto in the Sauber. So if the best of the rest this week from Alex, the best of the rest from the midfield teams, bit more like it, a bit more what we've been used to seeing earlier in the year. I think this track was always set to suit them though, wasn't it, in a very low downforce setup. So do you think it's a sign of things to come from them? Do you think they're maybe returning the corner, as it were, or do you think it's just a very track specific performance from them this week?
I think with Monza it's difficult because
it's so unique.
It's so unique, and if your car's great in a straight line, you're going to be great here, and not necessarily great in other places. So
you could be terrible in other places.
You can be like, so it was interesting. I guess we've got an interesting mix of circuits still to come, with like a proper, more of a proper track like in Austin or Interlagos, but then we still have a fair amount of street circuits to come, with like Vegas, don't remind me, and Baku, Singapore and Baku. So we've got a good mix, but I guess maybe somewhere like Baku won't suit them as much.
Yeah. I think it was a good drive, though, regardless. Especially since qualifying wasn't too good. I think they were both down 13-14, the Williams. So, a good recovery drive there as well to be best of the rest. Albon just again proving he's a hell of a driver.
Yeah, big time. Do you think, like, again, this is maybe getting off track, but do you think Albon has another shot at a big team in his career? Do you think I think he's proven that he's got the ability.
I hope Williams.
Would you rather take Albon or Yuki in that second Red Bull seat in a minute? Maybe that's a bridge that's been burned due to the past. But do you think someone like Albon has a shot at the top again?
I think quality-wise, yes. But just thinking about what seats could open up, I mean, I think Max and Albon in Mercedes would be a great partnership, but they're more likely to have Max and George or Max and Kimi, or I just don't see maybe a route for him into one of the big teams. But I would absolutely love to be proven wrong.
Well, who knows how long Lewis will stay around at Ferrari. I was just thinking of the top teams and the age of their drivers. Who knows what's going to happen with that second Red Bull seat of Yuki. Max could drive for a decade if he wanted to in that Red Bull. That obviously is up in the air. Who knows what his thoughts are, but Mercedes seem quite locked in with their young driver pairing, so who knows, maybe Ferrari, when Lewis does move on, I think he'll be there for the length of his contract at least, but he's not going to be there for 10 years, you know what I mean? So maybe there is space there for him. But the biggest moment from the race then, clearly McLaren making a rod for their own back, more papaya rules. The latest round of papaya rules might be one of the most controversial ones yet. What do you think?
It was all. It's hard because it's a bit silly because from my understanding they asked for Piastri to be pit first, and Lando agreed on the condition that obviously you had a bit of a chance for an undercut here. That he wouldn't get that undercut and they wouldn't, because he was in front, he qualified first, he should take priority on the pit stops, which is what most teams do and it's what McLaren have been doing all season, right? So that seems fair. He's going to play the team game to let Piastri, because that helps him, keep off Leclerc. So that puts him in the position where when he has this slow stop, that undercut becomes successful and he's now behind. Now, you can argue that, well, we said he wouldn't undercut like on track or anything, but you had this mistake that wasn't a strategy mistake. It was a pit stop, wheel gun on the front left not working. Yeah. That's out of our control, therefore suck it up, overtake him on track. Or you could say, look, I wouldn't have been put in this position. Maybe he wouldn't have got past me if I'd gone first. So I think overall, to swap back, it does seem fair, and I think on its own, it's not the biggest thing. I think because it's built up such a narrative of sort of really padded gloves, it's not really a fist fight, is it? Like, I mean, this is coddled and this is,
There is that.
It's probably good for the team, but as fans, it doesn't look so good. So when you just see stuff like this, and I mean, the only time they got near, passing each other was when they're ordered to do it. It just feels, kind of anticlimactic. And it, they'll say, "Oh, they were favouring Lando," or that. I don't think that was the case. I think they were just favouring the lead driver in this case. But what do you guys think?
I agree with you, actually. I think it's easy to say, oh, they were favouring Lando, but obviously Hungary, was it last year? It was the other way round. So I don't know. I think had it have been the other way around in this race, there would have been the same outcome, asking them to swap. So I don't think they're necessarily favouring one driver over the other. But I do agree with you that it's weird that we have this championship battle, and it's the closest we've had a championship battle in so long, and yet we don't see them racing each other. We don't see them.
We don't have a champ. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a battle. It's quite depressing, actually.
It is weird. It's almost like they're having.
There have been some moments.
There have been some moments, but it's almost like they're two separate championships running parallel.
Yeah.
As opposed to one championship that they're both kind of scratching and clawing over. But I think Oscar did well as well in the moment to just kind of say, okay, we did agree this before the stop.
Yeah.
Because it was said to him on the radio, there's no chance of an undercut, as in, if something goes wrong, you're to give the place back. So I think, even in the heat of the moment, he did the right thing for the team, but maybe had he been running first and Max hadn't have been there, it would have been a bit of a different situation.
I think if you're going for the win,
I don't think he'd give up a victory. I think that would have been the story, really. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, it's created a lot of headlines that the media want it to create because they want drama, they want this, and like, I think McLaren are just sucking the energy out of what could have been a great. I wanted another Lewis Nico toxic inter-team title fight, and I feel like I've been robbed of that because everyone at McLaren is far too mature for their own good, especially the drivers. But I feel like the headline would have been, if it was a race win we're talking about, I think it's a very different conversation, and I think Oscar would have been much more reluctant. Who knows what he would have done, but he would have been much more reluctant to give it up. And who knows if McLaren would have asked him to give up a race victory.
Well, I mean,
me personally, I think if McLaren wanted
they
Lando
did
to come
last
back
year,
in
though,
front,
didn't
they should have pitted him quicker.
Yeah, they are in Hungary last year. They asked Lando to give up a race victory, and there was all the kind of bickering and moaning on the radio, but he eventually did do it. So they have asked that of their drivers before.
I guess would just say with championship situation's different, but
I think with this year going on like last weekend with Oscar now having such a healthy advantage, it was an easier decision for him to make, to give up. It was like a 6-point swing, but that's not as big of a dent in his championship
He keeps it above an entire race victory,
and something like this could happen. We've still got races to go. Something like this could happen if he doesn't play the team game. He's sort of then he's on his own. Whereas if he plays it, we've had it happen, like we said last year or other times this season, where it happens in his favour because he might be the lead driver, and so I guess it is in his interest in some sense to just follow along. But I think end of the day, team makes sense from fans' perspective. It's the whole situation, papaya rules. It's frustrating, but it makes sense from theirs. I will say, I know you guys don't really like him, but if Christian Horner was still team principal, then that would bring some drama, because he would have been out there roasting them. And I loved Max saying in the car, while he's still driving at 300 plus kilometers an hour, literally laughing when he hears about this and how he's got to give the place up and all that, just because it is slightly ridiculous. And to me, that is the mindset of a champion. Like we had it in when he wouldn't let Perez have the place a few years ago, maybe 2023 I want to say, and he's just like, no, like I've told you guys, I've been through this, I'm not doing this, I am not giving places up. And he's just got
I remember that was a huge deal, wasn't it?
He's got this mindset of the champion, I think, so that just reinforced it to me, just the laughter, because it's unconceivable to him to do that. It's like it's farcical to him, because it's not a situation he would ever been. But I think, if to be fair, I mean, I sit here, I'm obviously not an F1 driver, very different situation. But for me, if I was Oscar, I'd say, well, if you wanted him in front, you should have pitted him quicker. Why is it his fault that they had a slow pit? Because he didn't. Again, I think if he undercut, if he put in a perfect lap and did undercut him on merit, say they did a 2-second stop for Lando,
and he still overtook him. Okay, you can say, look, you were told not to undercut.
Yeah.
You were told, we implied don't undercut, and he did. That's a different conversation. But him saying, look, if you wanted him out front and you pitted him properly, he would have been out front. So that's not my problem. But I don't know. I think I don't think it will really rumble on this story. It'd be interesting to see if it happens again. Less races, the points difference is down 3 points. It's still quite healthy for Oscar, obviously. Let's see what happens if the kind of situation comes again. It probably will. Just the nature of McLaren rather. It does seem to happen a lot for them that they put themselves in this kind of situation. So we'll have to see what happens next time. Okay, moving on to driver of the day. Ellie, do you want to lead us with your driver of the day?
I think there's no one else to choose other than Verstappen. It was just such a controlled performance, and it was he was never under threat really, other than the opening lap. But after that, he was a confident and comfortable winner.
Harry, I'm assuming you concur, but I'll let you say it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else I could give it to as a, keep it interesting, keep it different. Like I said, Albon had a great drive. Bortoletto I thought was great. But yeah, it's just such a dominant weekend from Max, and having that be unusual this year, it was nice to see as a Max fan. So it's got to be Verstappen for me.
Yeah, nice. I think I'll agree. Clearly had the fastest car on track, but that's from his own doing of pushing Red Bull in that direction this weekend with the car set up. So hard to look far beyond him. Okay, moving swiftly on then. Time for grid news. Els, our resident grid news expert, do you want to take us away for grid news?
Hello and welcome to Grid News. Dun 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 dun. So, Mohammed Ben Sulayem has abandoned his plans to change the engines for 2029, mainly because no one wanted to change it. Yeah. It was just him. Gasly has extended his stay until 2026 in the Alpine team, which is interesting considering they're rubbish. And my final grid news is Monaco has been extended until 2035 in a move that has disappointed a lot of
water sprinklers,
a lot of fans. Yeah,
I saw that.
I think, as I say, Monaco, I think it kind of has to be in for the history of it, and so we don't lose the kind of what makes it. But it needs to be more interesting, because otherwise it's just going to be, it's Monaco, as opposed to, it's Monaco.
Yeah, it's going to get to a point where it becomes toxic almost, I think, Monaco, becoming a big dividing point amongst fans of the more the traditionalists versus the people who actually want to watch something that's good on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But hey, the cars are, starting to come down in size and weight next year, so if that trend continues and we keep getting smaller and lighter, maybe fingers crossed. But
hear me out.
We'll see.
We just put them all in go-karts. Just for one race.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I
don't mind that.
Just give it a go.
Equal go-karts as well. Equal machinery,
I think
Nico Rosberg loves to say equal machinery. Okay, thank you for grid news, Els. Ben Sulayem, I think, as always, it was the idea to put V8s or V10s back in, wasn't it?
Yeah, the naturally aspirated engines.
Yeah. Absolute cracker's idea. So I'm glad that one bites the dust. Right. Moving forward to Baku. Back to the regular schedule of having a break in between, if I'm right. Mm-hmm. So we have a quick break before Baku.
You're saying that this race isn't back to Baku.
Or I should have said Baku that with a laugh.
For the listener, I could see Ellie's face light up, and I knew she had something funny to say. I knew she was lining it up,
and it wasn't funny.
She was lining it up. I was like, "What's she going to say?"
And then you were disappointed.
I enjoy Baku though. Maybe somewhat controversially, I actually quite enjoy the track. I think it's interesting, and I think the castle section, I'll never get over watching it. It's so cool to watch them drive next to a castle. high speed, slow speed. Got a bit of everything for me. Really enjoy it. Harry, why don't you launch us off with your Baku prediction? Give me a top 3 for Baku.
Gosh. Let's go. It's hard because I think I every time I come to this, I just put Lando, Piastri, Verstappen probably in some random order.
But that is the order.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I'll just say it'll be back to McLaren on top. I think it'll be back to McLaren on top. Let's say Lando on top because keep his dream alive for a little bit longer. Just on Baku itself, great track. I actually really really like it. It can either be really boring or really exciting, and I think it does mostly lean exciting, but you never know.
Els, do you want to give us your Baku prediction?
Do you know, I'm just trying to think. I'm going to put Lewis Hamilton on the podium. I've gone crazy.
Wow.
I've gone crazy.
You've seen it. You had a good week this week overall, I think. A step in the right direction a little bit.
He still sounds so depressed when he speaks to media.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to go Piastri, then Hamilton,
second,
then Norris. And I think Norris and Piastri are going to be like 1 and 2, like qualified. But then Piastri is going to maybe like overtake him at the start, or Norris is going to like lose positions at the start, which isn't really much of like an outlandish prediction.
He does it every time.
Yeah, that happens every week.
But that's like what I'm expecting. But I'm hoping for a good race. I also enjoy Baku, but then sometimes I watch Baku and I'm like, oh, that was so boring. How do I like this race?
Yeah, but it's like every few races it will be boring. I think mostly. Like, I look back at it once and, like, that was a banger, that was a banger, that was a banger, and then that was really dull. That was good, that was dull, so...
Yeah.
Let's hope it's a good one.
I think we will see a McLaren 1-2, just to move myself on. Like, I think that's kind of inevitable, so it kind of depends on how the midfield shakes around them, I think, in terms of how much intrigue we have. I'm going to put... I'll agree, I'm going to put Lando on the top step. I think last week I actually nailed my prediction, by the way. Because I did say Max with the low downforce was very good at Silverstone, so you know, my predictions are coming true. But anyway, this week in Baku, Lando first, Oscar second, controversially. I'm going to put Leclerc in third. I think Ferrari. I mean, they didn't win, they didn't get on the podium, but they look good this week. They look good. Another few high-speed sections with their strong engine. I'll give Leclerc third. Mix it up a bit for once. Moving on then to our final thoughts. Ellie, do you want to start us off with your final thoughts for the Italian Grand Prix weekend?
So my final thoughts is like a two-parter. First part, I absolutely thought it was fantastic that all the Italians were singing Max Verstappen, do Max Verstappen when he was on the podium, and I also love that they all booed Norris for like some reason I don't know.
No reason.
But what I will say is Ferrari, they had a bit of like a different livery for the weekend, and they also were wearing blue, and I thought it was really odd seeing so many of the Tifosi in the grandstands wearing blue, because you had like a lot of red but also spots of blue in there, and it was weird. It was like quite a nice...
Yeah, Tifosi is meant to be red, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the Tifosi.
Like, the outfits, like, the drivers were wearing and the hats and that, they were nice, but it was just a bit unnatural almost. Yeah. So that's my final thought is, I liked it, but could have... And I get that it was like a Monza special, but it just seemed odd, Just that's one's opinion.
I'll piggyback, because... I can't think of another final thought. Mine was going to be bringing up the Ferrari livery, because I really liked it. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, I liked the livery.
And I think they've had some stinkers with their liveries. A few of the special ones recently have just not been very good, but I did quite like this one. So yeah, I'm happy. That was good.
Good.
I think like for special custom liveries, I think McLaren do some really nice ones. And Red Bull will
I like Red Bull one that they did, yeah.
But Red Bull will do like a custom one, and it looks the exact same.
Yeah, sometimes they're really bad, but the white Red Bull, that's
The white one was
The white
so
one,
good.
yeah. Oh my God, the
They
white one
literally
was
made
so
the
good.
other car have that livery.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was-
exactly. That's how good it was.
It was so good.
Right, moving on to my final thoughts then. I don't know. I didn't put enough thought into it. My final thoughts are, no matter who wins the championship this year of the McLarens, Max Verstappen is, to me, clearly still the best driver in the world. No matter who wins,
Preach.
what happens between now and the end of the season, clearly, to me, he is the best driver in the world. And when he wants to, he can do things like this weekend and win by 20 seconds when he gets a car under him that's capable of it. So that is my not so controversial. It's probably quite obvious, but
Yeah.
that's my final thought. Is
I
that he is clearly the
completely
best driver in the
disagree.
world still.
Because it's clearly Lance Stroll.
It's got to be Lance Stroll.
Lance the dance.
Lance Stroll
Yeah.
2026.
Well, I don't know if I'll get copyrighted for this, but on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you have a good week, and hope everyone looks forward to Baku. So, goodbye from us. Have a great week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.